everybody, and welcome to Holy Moses Take a Look, the podcast about terrible books. I'm Sheena St. James, joined as always by my lovely assistant, Paul.
Hi.
And today we're going to be continuing with Irene Iddesleigh. We're going to go over Chapter 12. Just Chapter 12 this time around.
Last time on Irene Iddesleigh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, I've just seen the waveform. I'm pretty loud.
Yeah. So last time we found out that John Dunfern has a fucking death room. That's fun.
So the issue of Irene's affair with Oscar Otwell, her tutor, who we still know jack all about, other than his relationship to Irene Iddesleigh. So the issue of that came out, and naturally, John Dunfern was furious, and as punishment for this transgression against John Dunfern, he's locked Irene up in the death essentially room. In the death room, essentially
the death room.
For all intents and purposes, a dungeon of sorts. I mean, it's a well-furnished room with a blood-stained carpet, and people died in there. Yeah. But it's
just kept weapons in there for some reason?
Yeah. And John Dunfern has kept Irene trapped there. It's like actual drama. I thought it was just going to be I thought this book was going to continue to be a very bad romance, but now it's turned into a thriller of sorts. And the chapter concluded with Irene Iddesleigh seeking help from one of the maids, one of the servants of the house of John Dunfern. And she managed with some success to get into contact with someone. And what follows now, we have yet to find out.
Yeah, she's got her friend, who we just learned about, is on her side now. So, guess we're gonna discover that. And as always, of course, this is a blind read, so I have no idea what's coming next. Same as you. So here we go, Chapter 12. Torture trifleth not. There's that F again. It's like, this is... God, she's so pretentious. It manifests in many instances the deserving censure imposed upon its stinging touch. It acts like the poisonous fangs of the serpent, unless extracted from its burning crypt of chastisement by hands of wily witchcraft. So frightened did Lady Dunfern become, lest the eye of the straggler might chance more than once to catch the meaning of Marjorie's loitering about the grounds immediately below her window, that she seemed it imperative to alter her arrangements, and acquiring Marjorie in the usual way...
acquainting Marjorie.
Acquainting Marjorie in the usual way, thank you. Appointed an hour that would almost defy matters to be made conspicuous. This change made both of them more free to act, and proved a decided success.
So, an irregularity this time round. This is the first opening paragraph of a chapter that isn't just a load of waffle. There's actual narrative involved.
Yeah, there's like real exposition. Usually it's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it's still impenetrable because of how ludicrous her sentence construction is.
It's pretty bad. Only some weeks elapsed since Lady Dunfern's first missive reached Marjorie, until word was forthcoming from Oscar Otwell. Her heart beat wildly with joy on reading the following, slipped to her in the usual way. Hedley Burks. Dearest Lady Dunfern, you may well guess my gross astonishment on receipt of your long-looked-for note, and the dire news it contained. My heart bleeds for you, and believe me, no stone shall be left unturned until your release from that heathenish cell of woe shall be proclaimed. Often have I looked for an answer to my letters from you, but, alas, in vain. I began to be convinced that something must have driven your love for me into hate. I am further surprised that my uncle, who purchased Dilworth Estate, and who permanently resides at the castle with his wife and daughters, never alluded in any way in his letters to me, to your retirement, as it were, from public life. His answers to my many questions concerning you he entirely evaded, and never having had an opportunity of a personal interview with him since I entered Chitworth College, I unfortunately have been debarred from rendering long since the aid you now seek. Your suggestion shall undoubtedly have my prompt attention, and I'll now say no more until I rejoice in your freedom. Ever your loving Oscar. Okay, so does Amanda McKittrick-Ross only know of two emotions? Because, I mean, that's the kind of extremity we're looking at, you know? It's like, oh, she loves him, but she hates him. You know? Like, before we knew he had a death room and was like a sicko who liked locking people up, we had no reason to hate John Dunfern. But she hated him for reasons unknown.
Yeah, she has no sense of nuance.
No.
Like, she doesn't know how to create drama other than using extremes.
Mm-hmm. And, like, this guy is so melodramatic because he's like, oh, I guess you didn't love me anymore. You must have hated me. It's like, there is a whole continuum of things, you know. She could have been busy.
Yeah, you know, keeping an eye on things.
Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on things.
Yeah. So, like, what is he actually saying? Like, apparently he was,
He's gonna do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, his uncle...
He asked after
his
her
uncle
to no
Perch,
avail.
His Uncle Perch is still with the state.
Yeah.
And didn't know, of course, about Irene's predicament.
Yeah. Because who would? I mean...
No. No one seems to know at this point, with the exception of I forget the name of the house staff that John Dunfern's entrusted the care of Irene to.
Rachel Hyde.
Yeah, and this Marjorie character, and now Oscar.
Yeah. And none of them are doing anything about it, because Rachel's evil, Marjorie only passes letters, and Oscar is literally useless.
Mm. Yeah, there's a thought. That was the thing that tickled me about the end of last chapter, is that suddenly Irene has help from outside, and the first thing she does is not get me out of this hell cage. She just goes,
check my mail.
Where's my mail? Where's my mail? I need to have a letter from Oscar. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I get it. That's
a big deal, but that should be second priority.
Yeah, especially after a year of being locked up.
I know, like, it's been fucking forever. She's got a baby that's a toddler now. She doesn't care. She's like, oh, they'll take care of the baby. That's fine. They'll take care of the baby. I'm not worried.
She's surprisingly blasé about the baby, but then if I were married to John Dunfern, I wouldn't want his kid either.
Well, then, I mean, I don't know. It's not the kid's fault.
I know it's not the kid's fault, but the kid is also fictional, so fuck it.
That's true. The mind of
him...
Oh.
Nah, I'm done.
Okay. The mind of him who was in full possession of the facts regarding Lady Dunfern's present position became perfectly distracted, and on entering college next morning, after receiving her note, was so overcome with grief as to cause grave alarm amongst the many students who benefited so much by his strenuous efforts to ensure success. Wrong case of the word ensure. It's ensure is what you're looking for. Not insure. Dr. O'Sullivan, the eminent president of the college, on seeing Oscar, whom he lately observed was laboring under some weight of sorrow, in such a state of despair, strongly advised a change of air, at the same time kindly offering him a substitute for 4 weeks, at the end of which time, if he still found himself unable to resume his tuition, he would prolong his vacation by 2 weeks. This was the very thing Oscar wanted, absence from duty, and he gladly availed himself of the worthy president's generous offer.
This is so...
Yeah.
Like, I get that there is a significant amount of time has passed since the story began, you know, that whole months go by, weeks go by within paragraphs.
Uh-huh.
But this whole reported speech style of hers is incredibly grating. You could create a much more compelling set of characters and a much more compelling narrative by actually, actually narrating the events in question rather than just telling us.
Yep.
You know, we could get a more rounded impression of what Oscar Otwell is like if we aren't just told this shit.
Mm-hmm.
that whole paragraph could be an interesting scene in and of itself. But as we've talked about before, Amanda has no sense of narrative, no sense of narrative tension, no sense of emotional nuance in her writing at all.
Right. Shit, I forgot what we were saying. But
it's fine. I was done.
One of the things that bugs me about this writing is that we have no sense whatsoever of personality. Like, she'll say, oh, they did this, and they did that, and they did this, and they did that, and they were very distraught. And we get no sense of their actual thought processes, very little sense of their manners of speaking, of their little habits. We have no idea what these people are actually like. I mean, I'm sure I have a better idea of the personalities of people I've spent less than an hour with, than I do of these characters.
No, and there's no personality in Amanda's writing either. There's no... the only thing unique about her is the thing she does wrong.
Right. Yeah, that's sort of the heart of it, isn't it? It's like she took every rule ever of good narrative structure and went, that's stupid. I'm not going to do that. How Oscar quitted the college on receiving the news which liberated him, not only for 4 weeks, but forever. How he sped along to his room in Upper Joy Street, and there wrote a few words to her who longed for his presence and aid, wondering how the clever trick so ably concocted by Lady Dunfern would be accomplished, or if attempted, would succeed. Better leave it to her who had so well managed to even reach the length of liberty, which marked her heroism already. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is such garbage. Lady Dunfern was busily engaged during her hours of uninterruption. She could have said uninterrupted hours, but hours of uninterruption. That's not a word, is it? I mean...
It's, I don't know. She could have just done without that clause altogether.
Yeah. In marking notes with great caution and clearness on paper for Marjorie's use, and well guarded and guided must the steps be that should again lead her into the open field of freedom and health. The heavy rain beat furiously against the darkened windows of Lady Dunfern's confined and much detested abode as Rachel approached her with supper on the night of 24th December. Huh?
It's like a Christmas. It's yeah. Merry Christmas. It's. We should have waited. This is now the Christmas special of Hollywood. Let's take a look.
In September.
What did you get me?
I got you my love.
Aw, thank you. I got you love too.
Yay! It's just what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Already a better written drama than Irene Iddesleigh.
Right? Anyway.
As the next day brought many touching remembrances with it, Rachel, this iron-willed attendant, spoke in rather soothing strains to her whom more than once she tried to betray. Lady Dunfern, being so fully charged with thoughts edging on her flight, remained in perfect indifference to all her cunning remarks, never betraying the least outward symptom of the excitement that then raged so terribly within her. She was resolved that...
Can excitement rage?
I don't know. I guess. In the death room.
Yeah.
The rules are different in the death room.
That's true. There's a metal song in there somewhere. Anyway.
She was resolved that no word of any description whatever should be conveyed to him who so eagerly awaited Rachel's retracting footsteps outside the cell. Okay, so I've said this before, but I really, 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 really hate that this is a common thing that Amanda does with him who blah 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 or her who blah 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 blah, whatever. It's like, just say who it is. There's or allude to it in a different fucking way. We're on chapter 12. That's enough. It's enough. God, it's so obnoxious. Like, I know it's a small quibble, but It's just such an annoying turn of phrase, and I really, really hate it. And I'm getting so tired of it, and there's 19 chapters.
It's like when amateur authors will talk about speakers, named speakers, but with unnecessary descriptions.
Yep.
Like, oh, I had a lovely time at the shops, said the tall blonde woman, and it's like, her name's Charlotte.
Yeah.
Just say said Charlotte,
Yep. It's like, it'd be one thing if this was an opportunity to describe something new, to provide new information, but she's not. There is no point to that whole clause. That whole set of words is utterly useless because it has no new information whatsoever. It only detracts from the point being made. And it's repetitive and annoying.
Yeah,
I hate it.
It's bad. I can't get upset. I can't get as upset as you are about it. But again, it's like she has a scene. This is the thing that's bothering me now, is that now we have actual drama. You have scenes that are like touched upon in reported that are reported on, essentially. It was one thing when it was a bad romance before, but now it's like an actual,
She's in the death room.
This is an actual drama. We've got kidnap. We've got sneaky, stealthy runarounds. We've got Oscar, the actual lover in question, is actually a character now. He's allowed to have thoughts and feelings, and we're privy to them now. I mean, insofar as Amanda is able to articulate them. Yeah. And, we've got this iron-willed woman, this woman who's described as iron-willed, who's, is, talking to Lady Dunfern, and you've got Lady Dunfern being reticent and, reining her excitement at the possibility of freedom in, and we're told so little about that when that could be... We get windows into these characters, but they're like the windows in Irene Iddesleigh's death room.
They're tiny.
They're difficult to peer out of, and you might be lucky to see one person in them, if at all.
And even then from a distance, like, we have no reason to sympathize or care about any of these characters because they're like little paper dolls. They have no context or personality at all. They're not really like... They don't feel like people.
See, you've just reminded me of that song by the Mills Brothers. I'm gonna buy a paper doll.
Oh my god.
And I can call my own. A doll that other fellows cannot steal from me. That's actually... If I remember, that song's actually quite misogynistic.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But...
Yeah, like women being described as possessions in a fairly gleeful manner is not...
Bit creepy.
It's not good.
Bit weird.
Yeah.
Bit weird.
Bit weird.
Okay, so... Prompted strongly by Sir John before entering, Rachel carried with her messages of a rather condoling character to be delivered to her ladyship in such pitiful phrases as to twist from her remarks for the use of him who feared that something dreadful was about to happen, owing to a miserable dream he had only had a couple of nights before. Stop doing it! Ah! God!
Is there anyone else in the house?
My brother.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
But Lady Dunfern is too watchful to allow even one word to escape her lips that might innocently convict her, and steadfastly guarding against the tongue at the treachery...
That's such a dumb turn of... That might innocently convict her.
It doesn't make sense.
That's not how you convict
someone. I know, that's the opposite of convicting someone. Okay. And steadfastly guarding against the tongue of the treacherous maiden remained in silence. The evil-intended Rachel lingered around the room fully 15 minutes, thus affording Lady Dunfern every opportunity of saying something. but all of no avail, and angrily snatching up the large silver tray, bounced out of the room, banging the great door after her, probably in order to frighten her mistress, but not a nerve did the rude and audacious act disturb. She bounced out of the room.
Hang on, I have to admit, I'm actually a little lost as to what Rachel's trying to accomplish in the way she's behaving. Like, what's going on?
So John had a bad dream. So he's like, I need you to spy on her some more. See if you can get her to talk about what she's doing, if she's planning anything bad. And so she tried to, like, sweet talk it out of her, basically. Try and get her to make her, like, chatty by being friendly. But Irene didn't say anything, so she angrily bounced out of the room like a little rubber ball.
See, that's funny to imagine, actually. Yeah. See, this is the thing. This is the problem with Amanda's writing, is that, you know, this could be very easily articulated if she just stuck to simple sentences. But as it is, I had a hard time figuring out that that's precisely what Rachel was doing.
Yeah. Or that she is, in fact, a rubber ball. Turning the light very low, the confined woman slipped on, tiptoe behind...
Sorry. I just realised that could be part of the canon. We've got hand-ass Iddesleigh,
Yes.
fish baby Dunfern,
Yes, with snowy tufts.
and rubber ball Hyde.
Yes.
That's you know, the trifecta is complete.
Oh, we still need to figure out what Oscar is.
Oh, I'm sure in good time Amanda will provide us with a suitable description.
Yes.
Anyway, turning the light.
Turning the light very low, the confined woman slipped on tiptoe behind the defiant door, and heard faint sounds proceed from the adjoining corridor, the voices she well knew to be those of both her husband and Rachel. Her heart...
Sorry, I'm just the confined woman.
Uh-huh.
Just say Irene. That's the thing. She's not been referred to as Irene ever since she got married. It's always Mrs.
Lady
Dunfern. Or Lady Dunfern. Lady
which
Dunfern.
is, again, a bit creepy. It's like, she's still the same person. For God's sakes, the book is named after her.
Yeah, weird that it's named after her maiden name, in retrospect.
Yeah. It's like, I would think it'd be like a Hedda Gabler type thing, but it's not that good. It's not that, like, complex.
No, not nearly.
Yeah, Hedda Gabler's actually really good.
Her
heart sank somewhat at the discourse that followed Rachel's recent visit, lest it might be concerning either herself or Marjorie, or worse still, she thought, relative to her intended flight within 5 hours, which she earnestly implored should not be prevented. Oh my god.
Oh, so she does have a plan to get out.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, that's news to me.
The discourse. I can't get up.
Her heart sank at the This is the one time where Irene has been relatable to me. It's just her heart sank at the discourse, and I'm like, me too, buddy, me too. Anyway.
The voices, however, after a lengthy conversation, suddenly ceased, and gently moving to the fire, she sat quietly down to heat her icy limbs that were almost benumbed with cold. Yeah, I bet her fingers were real cold. Because as we know, she is in fact only a hand.
Snowy hand.
Anyway. The thoughts which she allowed to disturb her anxious mind she found were very numerous, the principal one being that a flight, which she trusted strenuously, should be fully accomplished within the time specified. The first hour slipped in, the second moved round too, likewise the third, and gazing wild despair in the direction of her daintily jewelled watch, which she kept suspended from the trivial hook around the mantelpiece of richly carved oak, could scarcely refrain from tears. Ah! Good! I hate everyone in this book.
She's so emotional. She's got feelings, and she wants you to know.
The smallest hand of her little timekeeper could not fail.
Just say clock. Just say clock.
Watch.
Or watch, but just...
Yeah, little timekeeper.
Like, if you want to be pretentious...
bullshit.
If you want to be pretentious, if you really have to be, call it a chronometer.
Or timepiece.
Yeah, all that.
could not fail to show that the hour of 11 had just been reached. Ugh!
Just say it was 11 o'clock. Oh my god.
This was precisely the time all the household retired, including Sir John, on whose part it was not a case of command, but option. Duh! He's the fucking owner of the house! Who's gonna tell him what to do? Like, wasn't that safe? Stupid.
It's suddenly Amanda forgets how hierarchy works.
On this particular night, the staff of servants was not so fully represented as usual. Marjorie Mason had not been amongst the number who sought sleep, neither was it known by anyone whether or not she was in her own room.
Could she be planning an escape?
Holy shit. Immediately adjoining Marjorie's room was Rachel Hyde's, both of which it was Marjorie's duty always to keep in perfect order, thus affording the great friend of Lady Dunfern a daily opportunity of viewing the drawer in which the great key of her ladyship's room was at rest. Ugh. It was a habit with Rachel to sleep with her bedroom door ajar, by order of her master, lest a fire might originate during the hours of repose, or burglars enter and carry with them some valuables of no slight worth or interest. See, when you phrase it like that, it sounds as if they are not, in fact, valuable.
Mm.
I know it's like of no little worth or interest, but no slight worth or interest. Like, it just implies that, they'll take the useless tat. We gotta stop them.
It's Marjorie's room adjoining Rachel's room. I wonder if this plan will go off without a hitch. Oh. Yes. As a recipe for trouble.
God, this is so bad. About 10 o'clock, an hour before Marjorie's usual time to retire, she ably feigned a very severe attack of indigestion and trying to look as dejected and sick as she could in consequence, requested that she might be permitted to go to her own room for the night, a request which Rachel readily granted, as Marjorie and she always travelled by the express train of friendship. Ugh! God! What is this? That's the worst metaphor ever. Rachel added that she would...
So, this is the first we're hearing that they were buddies.
I know. Rachel added that she would act in her stead by clearing her master's supper table herself. Don't need to know that. No sooner had Rachel granted Marjorie's request than she dashed up the many and winding steps of ascent, until she reached the object of her premeditated scheme by boldly entering the housekeeper's room and taking therefrom the choicest treasure it contained, namely the key which was so soon to prove the nature of the severe illness she so capitally assumed. God, this is so awful. Oh. Ugh, okay.
Capitally assumed.
Rachel
It's just indigestion, mate. It's not a severe illness.
Rachel, on entering the room in which Sir John sat, was quickly asked where Marjorie was, and after satisfying him as to her illness, she hastily removed the articles used at supper and prepared to rest. When passing Marjorie's door, Rachel tapped lightly, and failing to gain admission, called on her to admit her with a cup of hot milk. Still no reply came from within. Then, slowly turning the handle, she tried to admit herself without waking Marjorie, feeling sure she must be sound asleep. It was only on her third attempt to seek entrance that she found the door locked. Moving into her own room, she muttered something that did not distinctly reach the ear of her who was safely secreted underneath the housekeeper's bed. Divesting herself of her clothing, Rachel soon put herself in the position to guarantee slumber. Oh my god! A position to guarantee slumber. Holy shit.
Ugh.
She wrapped herself well within the fleecy folds of nature.
What does that mean? Did she cover herself in grass and twigs?
She's a bagworm. Rachel, the evil bagworm. Holy shit.
And they wiggle. And she wiggle.
And she wiggle. Dear God, she wiggled.
And in less than 10 minutes...
Yeah, was safely sailing in the boat of dreamland.
That's... Wow. Wow, okay.
Oh my
So we've gone from white knuckle thriller to fucking nursery rhyme time.
With the evil bagworm.
Yeah,
There are no humans in this book.
So Marjorie's hiding under the bed.
Marjorie, for it was she who lay stretched under the bed of her who never had at any time doubted her word or actions. When fully convinced of Rachel's safe retirement, crept along the carpeted floor on hands and knees, carrying with her the key to victory. Proudly and much agitated did Marjorie steal her way along the many winding corridors of carpeted comfort, until at last she came to the bottom of the ghost-like marble steps which led to her mistress. And swiftly running up the icy heights until reaching the door of danger and bloodthirsty revenge, she, with the caution of a murderess, thrust with great and exceptional care the key into its much-used opening, and heroically succeeded in gaining admittance.
And that's how she has sex every night.
I know, right?
That's how... By she, I am, of course, referring to the lovely author.
With great and exceptional care.
I couldn't not say that. God. See, I wish for all that we make fun of Amanda McKittrick-Ross, the level of care that she's detailing the narrative, this is what I wanted out of some of the previous scenes. I mean, admittedly, there's not much in the way of dialogue exchange, and some of these scenes could be enhanced with actual dialogue as opposed to just reported speech or, you know. But the care and the pacing of the events that are being relayed to us, where was that before? You know? God, like, it's, oh, gosh. Anyway.
Behind the door lay...
So after... Where were we? Sorry, I've been scrolling up and down the file. So we've had the sex metaphor, and now behind the door.
Behind the door lay Lady Dunfern, as if dead. With great presence of mind, Marjorie locked the door from within, struck a match, and tried to light the lamp, which had been extinguished not long before. This with difficulty she nervously did. Then, turning to her mistress, whose changed countenance was a sight Marjorie never forgot until her dying day, she tried every effort to arouse her, who so soon was likely to track the path of powerful pursuit. It was fully some minutes until she saw the faintest glimpse of animation, and gently raising the shadowy form in her strong arms, used every means in her power to quickly prepare her for the most trying part of all. At last Marjorie's efforts were completely baffled, and knowing it was approaching the time at which Oscar was to be in readiness at the gate furthest away from the mansion, that was seldom or never used, the poor trembling girl had now enough to bear. She believed the cup of sorrow had been drained of its last dregs. Still she hoped on, never giving place to the remotest trace of doubt, being fully assured of achieving the topmost tier of triumph.
Okay, now I'm lost. So Lady Dunfern's scared?
No, she's being carried away. Because Marjorie's gonna take her to Oscar. Lady Dunfern had through... What?
No, it's just, yeah, sorry. I don't have anything to say. Sorry.
Lady Dunfern had, through pure fear of being caught in her venture, stood an hour or so behind the door before Marjorie's welcome steps were heard, and momentarily on hearing her trusted maid's nimble tread, had such rapid strides towards her release, was with overjoy so quickly stricken down, at a time when twofold energy was most required, that she utterly failed to regain the slightest strength, and in this sad state her helper found her. So she was so excited she fainted. Wow. She is frail as heck. Oh my god.
Because apparently women are that fragile.
Apparently. Or, well, just ladies.
Ladies.
Marjorie's strong.
There we go. She's I like Marjorie. Mm. She's the nicest character in this story so far.
She's the only one that does anything.
Oh, yeah, the story has just kind of happened to everyone else. Whereas Marjorie's making shit happen. This is great.
The real hero of the story. The moments were passing more quickly now than Marjorie wished, and bestowing one final look at her ladyship's watch, so firmly clutched in her fingers, was about to break down in despair, when she was suddenly aroused by a dash of sandy pebble thrown against the window, which unmistakably announced the arrival of him who so soon was to shield the shaken form of her once lovely mistress from the snares of jealousy and intrigue. Just say Oscar, for fuck's sake! Oh God. Why?
She does, though. In the next paragraph.
I know, but oh my god. It's fucking 2 lines.
She's getting a use out of this cliche that you hate.
I hate it so much. God. Okay. Oscar, who stood at the gate appointed, was very uneasy, no doubt, as the hour slowly approached that should make him the recipient of the treasure he at first should have honestly secured, and fearing lest the escape might be detected in time for rescue, he was unable to remain any longer where he was. Mounting the iron gate, he soon flung himself over its speary top, and hurriedly making his way towards Lady Dunfern's window, where he perceived the dim light, he announced his arrival in the manner described. Okay, so why is this being told out of order? That's what I want to know.
What way? What's that?
The sandy pebbles, I assume the finest pebble, was thrown at the window, right? And then it says Oscar, by the way, was waiting around and he got nervous, and so he did the thing in the manner described. I really hate that.
I see. I didn't even know that. I was confused until you put the pieces together.
Wringing her hands in wild despair, Marjorie touchingly prayed for speedy release from such cruel torture. And opening the door for the last time, she carried her mistress into the corridor, and there deposited her until again locking the giant block of oak. Then she lightly tripped down the ashen steps along the corridors, until at last she reached the open door of Rachel's room. Pausing for a moment, lest the housekeeper might be awake, she satisfied herself that this was not so. She then courageously entered and safely deposited the key at the exact spot whence she took it, retracting in a wonderfully quiet manner her shaking footsteps until arriving... retracing in a wonderfully quiet manner her shaking footsteps until arriving to convey her precious charge to a place of safety. Clasping Lady Dunfern once more in her arms, she crept down the chilly steps of fate along the well-padded paths of tapestry, down numerous flights of wiry carpeted stairs, until finally reaching the lofty hall, where she paused for an instant, being a complete example of exhaustion, and dreading the least delay, approached the door with safety. Ugh. She then deposited her ladyship on a lounge that lay right behind it, until she secured the key, which from previous observation she noted, in case of emergency, hung on a silver hook not 8 feet distant. With the air...
Oh. See, this aside from the extraneous description in places, this is okay. Shit's happening. It's happening quickly.
Yeah.
You know? I'm almost relieved. I'm going to be very sad when she starts bogging everything down in pointless metaphor.
Prepare
again.
for sadness. With the air of a duchess, Marjorie dashed open the outer door at the left wing of the building, and with her liberated load of love, swept forever from its touch. Blowing faintly a whistle she brought for the purpose, she soon was released of her charge by him who instantly appeared to shield them both from the breezy blast which bitterly swept that night o'er hill and dale. Ah! Stop it!
Give you my liberated load of love.
Oh my god. Loving looks.
I'll
liberated load of love. Jesus Christ. Oh.
Yeah. Next time I write you a letter,
do not do that.
Okay.
I'll cry.
Okay, I won't write you a letter.
You break my heart.
I'm sorry. I'll give you a load of money. That'll make everything better.
Nasty boy. Taking Lady Dunfern in his arms, Oscar paced the broad and pebbled walks, speedily arriving at the spot where stood a vehicle in readiness to convey them to their destiny. Not a word was...
Destination, not... Sorry, all this florid, hoity, floity, bloity, schnoity, it's just, destiny,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's very pretentious, isn't it? It's...
Like I get it, it's a love story, but come on.
And I love how she's just unconscious the entire time.
Yeah.
She's just a fucking payload.
Yeah. This is actually
it's a heist.
Overwatch fanfic. It's Overwatch fanfiction.
Yeah. That was, well, then who's who?
Marjorie is Zarya.
Okay, because she's strong and good.
Because she's strong and
Love
good.
That Zarya.
So
who's a scrub? Hanzo's a scrub. Hanzo's a total scrub.
Why is that? Yeah, but like, who's Irene? Who's Lady Dunfern?
She's the payload.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, of course. Doi. Yeah, we'll figure out the rest of the cast as Overwatch characters.
Okay, where were we? Not a word was spoken by Oscar. Neither did Lady Dunfern betray the slightest symptoms of recovery until safely driven to the pretty home Oscar had previously arranged for her rescue, some 20 miles distant from Dunfern Mansion. It was situated nearly in the center of Dilworth Park, and generously handed over to Oscar as a conditional gift from his uncle, the Marquis of Orleans, who owned its many acres. Marjorie's joy at this stage fully balanced her previous hours of sorrowful and dangerous adventure. She could hardly refrain from tears as she viewed the weary knight through the telescope of trickery. She seemed confident of having performed a great and good work by liberating from the pangs of emotional imprisonment. Literal imprisonment! What are you talking about, emotional imprisonment? The weak and forlorn, who so soon would have been ordered to separate herself from a closet of chastisement to enter the home of joy everlasting, which ever had its door of gladness open to the ring of the repentant and contrite. After leaving Lady Dunfern in the careful charge of Marjorie, Oscar proceeded to handsomely reward his uncle's coachman, who drove them so quickly from Dunfern Mansion to Audley Hall, requesting him at the same time to treat the matter with profound silence. The rescued form now opened her eyes. Oh my god! Just fucking say Irene! Jesus!
Say she's a person.
The
like,
rescued
first she's
form. Fuck.
Like, first she's not afforded the luxury of being referred to by her own name.
No.
Now she's just a mound of flesh.
Yes. And suddenly a convulsive twitch shook her feeble frame, casting her heavily laden orbs. Orbs! Fuck!
She said it! We did it!
We won!
Bingo! Free space!
Oh my god!
It's just a shame. It's just a shame that they weren't described as gemstones. That'd have been the real kicker.
But her eyes are hazel. There are no hazel gemstones.
Oh, smoky quartz.
That's grey.
It's
Hazel
close
has
enough.
a bit of
Hazel, grey.
brown and green in it.
I don't know. I don't know colours.
Orbs, though. I was waiting. I was like, it's not a proper terrible book unless they call eyes orbs.
Orbs of...
A blinded brilliancy around the cozy, well-lighted room. Had not to be informed by anyone what had happened. She gasped, "Thank heaven I'm safe." Oscar, tenderly bidding Lady Dunfern good night, instructed Marjorie to carefully administer to her wants until daybreak. And that's the end of chapter 12.
Sorry, it's administer to her once until daybreak. Bow jigga bow. Sorry. Get my jokes in. Such as they are.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
Shit actually happened all at once.
And it was a rescue, a successful rescue. I thought they were gonna pound on the drama and be like, I thought Rachel Hyde was gonna like turn into a monster and be like,
yeah, she's just a little rubber ball.
not
She can't do
so
anything.
fast, Irene. I thought that was gonna happen. I thought like Sir Dunfern was gonna come out and be like, I created life, I can take it away. I was so convinced that was what was gonna happen, and that it was gonna be an epic duel. Like Marjorie was gonna have to cast a magic spell on both of them to like run away. I thought there was gonna be some serious. I don't know. I'm asking too much. Amanda doesn't know how to create action, much less drama.
No.
But
that's pretty bad.
but the fact that the rescue was successful, and we're like 12 chapters in, we're well over halfway through the book, and I'm just wondering where she goes from here. Like, is she gonna create more tension? Is she gonna have the story kind of fizzle out from here? What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
It's exciting. That's not to say that it's good. She's still a bad writer,
Yeah.
and she's relying on cliches and omitting information where, it would be nice to have some. I'm still annoyed at these sequences in the story, which would be nice to have more information on, and she just chooses to be like, oh yeah, and then this happened, and then Oscar got extenuating circumstances on his uni assignment.
And he died.
No, he's still alive.
I know, but we.
Oscar.
We can just...
Yeah, she does do that. She just kind of, characters, kind of get shunted out of the story as and when is convenient. It seems. Just, yeah. And that's chapter 12.
Yeah, that's...
I got worried when I realized that we were doing a particularly long one, but this was, for all of this chapter's faults, this was actually quite fun to chew through.
Oh, it's still not good, but as far as...
I know. Something doesn't have to be good to be fun.
True.
That's why...
That's true. This is a fun episode.
That's why watching old FMV PC games is fun. It's why watching The Room is fun.
That's true. And that's why we're here, ultimately. It's just...
So you too can have fun chewing through terrible books.
Yeah. Oh. I'm just... so bad.
What do you think's going to happen next?
I think they're all going to die.
Do you have that little faith in the author?
I do. It's more hope. I'm holding out hope that they all die.
It's true. None of them are proven to be particularly compelling.
No, like Marjorie's the only one that doesn't totally suck, but even then, she has no personality whatsoever.
Yeah, Marjorie is just a vector through which plot has been allowed to happen.
Yeah, like, she's just... she may as well be a robot, for all we know. Like, she has no...
Like, all we know is that she's besties with Irene.
And also with evil Rachel Hyde.
Yeah, but that was a fact that we didn't find out until this chapter. And then in the previous chapters we found... that she was friends with Lady Dunfern, but only when it was convenient for us to know. We weren't told this through the narrative or through the dialogue or through, character interactions. So, as much as I appreciate Marjorie in the story, it's everything she's done has just been, like I said, she's just a vector through which this sequence has been allowed to happen, but it doesn't really have much of a bearing on her character.
No.
Other than she is hella strong to be able to, like, carry this
woman.
But then,
a little hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, if we're thinking about her that way, then yeah, it's probably... But, maybe it's just that the estate is just... And the house is just so big that it's an issue to walk through, even when the payload is
small.
Just a little snowy hand.
Yeah, you just stick it in your pocket. People say, what's that in your pocket? You say, my hands are in my pockets. They say, if you always had 3, you go, yes, that's my talent.
That's my spare hand.
Yeah, it's my extra, just in case one falls off. I can just put this one on.
It's like a spare tire.
Yeah, it's my spare hand.
God.
It's my extra. I've got one. You should have one.
Marjorie confirmed for augmented human.
Oh God.
She's like Adam Jensen before Adam Jensen.
Yeah.
I never asked for this. That's my impression of Marjorie.
Yeah. She's Adam Jensen, except a woman.
It's Adam Woman, Adam Womson. I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, that's I think enough for 1 week. So
that's enough
yeah,
rubbish.
that's enough. Ugh. I get to go
So
a few more days without having to read, he who did this and she who did that and her who did this and him who had that. And
it's like, why name your character if you're never gonna fucking
I
refer
know.
to
I
them
hate
by the
it
names?
so much.
So we've gone from
Death room.
a year's we've gone from a year's stay in, in the death room, captive,
into a
to
daring escape on Christmas.
Yeah, it's like Indiana Jones.
There's no Christmas escape in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but there's daring and adventure.
I would think more like Die Hard.
And then Oscar Otwell is like, it belongs in a museum.
Look at this weird hand. It belongs in a museum. Oh, yeah.
That's a tortured comparison.
Yeah, it doesn't actually make sense, by all accounts. But anyway, I'm finished with this for now.
Yeah.
I've had enough.
It's a good place to end,
Yes.
knowing that Irene and Marjorie and Oscar are safe
For now.
once more. Yeah. Tune in next week to watch it all go to shit.
So next week we'll be back with chapters 13 and 14 of Irene Iddesleigh. This has been Holy Moses Take a Look. And be sure to, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.